A week after Microsoft's brave support of the First Amendment, Apple and Google have come forward to disclose that between November 24, 2020 and March 15, 2021, the Department of Justice issued 9 secret subpoenas and warrants to them.
In fact, just last month we learned that the Biden Justice Department targeted Project Veritas, having its emails seized on Microsoft servers.
And to make matters worse, the government can send gag orders with these subpoenas that prevent service providers from telling the targets that their information has been given over to the government.
The DOJ used secrecy orders against Project Veritas. The DOJ then went behind the judge's back to obtain an extension on 2 sealed non-disclosure orders.
We recently reported the Department of Justice secretly seized emails from journalists' Microsoft accounts and hid that from a federal judge. Well, it didn't stop there. The services we all use every day have also been compromised. New documents reveal professional and private accounts from Apple and Google were secretly obtained as well. This comes on the heels of bipartisan support for legislation protecting journalists from gross government overreach by the Department of Justice. This is not just about Project Veritas. There are thousands of these secret orders issued every year. Ours are just a fraction of that.
Members of this committee heard testimony that the DOJ is not, in fact, using these NDOs in limited circumstances, but rather issuing thousands of these secrecy orders every year.
These orders are not just limited to journalists. Everyday American citizens are also being spied on by these secret orders, signed without so much as a hearing. Not only were they spying on our journalists' accounts, the Department of Justice was also spying on our security detail. This is a letter sent from the Department of Justice to Google in California, signed by the United States Attorney in the Southern District of New York. They compelled Google not disclose they were obtaining the correspondence of our security details Google Gmail account. The Department of Justice wasn't just targeting our journalists. They were going after those tasked with protecting the journalists' lives. Think about what is in your Apple and Google Gmail accounts. These are not just emails. These are your text messages. These are your private photographs of you and your children, your iCloud accounts, your location data, everything. And in the case of journalists, this also includes the information of our sources.
In a free country, we need to make sure that the government cannot unmask journalist sources without good cause. This bill provides those protections, and it is time we get this legislation signed into law.
Those in favor respond by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes obviously have it. The bill is ordered reported favorably to the House.
Case in point, we've just learned from the court's filter team that messages from our confidential sources that have nothing to do with the Ashley Biden diary were seized and may have been viewed by the Department of Justice. That can have an incredible chilling effect on sources' ability to trust they can come to journalists without facing retaliation from their own government. We filed yet another motion in federal court demanding the Department of Justice return our property immediately and stop spying on us and stop spying on sources that have nothing to do even with the diary. It's time the Department of Justice answered for their actions. And we now know the Department of Justice shopped these secret orders around to 9 different magistrate judges, apparently in their efforts to keep the breadth of their overreach hidden. As our lawyers write, 1. The seizures violated the express provisions of the Privacy Protection Act. 2. The seizures violated the First Amendment. 3. The seizures violated the common law reporter's privilege. And 4. The seizures violated the Fourth Amendment's prohibition against unreasonable searches and seizures. The government knows the truth. Project Veritas engaged in journalism protected by the First Amendment. Whether these prosecutors have operated without appropriate supervision or the highest levels of the administration's Department of Justice are complicit in this investigation into Ashley Biden's abandoned diary. As the Reporters Committee has requested of federal judge Annalisa Torres, it is time for the Department of Justice's affidavits by which they obtained these unjustified subpoenas be unsealed. And just this week, Judge Torres has ordered the government to respond to our motion seeking return of our property. The judge ordered the government must answer by May 6th. And it is time for the court to curb the government's lawless behavior.